Hey guys, welcome back to JTech. So today, because I was just finishing up the desk, I wanted to give you a little walkthrough on RGB lighting and how to make your own, basically. Um, you can go on eBay and buy RGB strips for next to nothing. You can get like 6 feet for like $6 or $8. This is a 5 volt. It is a 3 pin. It is the same as anything else, any other RGB. And how I run them is you can buy little controllers for about $5 that have LED prongs on them, specifically made. And all you have to do is open them up, and you can find out which one's the data line, the ground, and the 5 volt. Once you find out which is which this one came with a 4-pin connector for the LEDs. I'm only going to use 3. I made my own little split wire here using a couple old extensions and nipped them so I can have quick connects. 3 wires, and then I repinned a Molex on the end so I can tie the 3 wires together and have my 3 wires. Again, ground, data, power. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just prepping my last strip. I've already done the one's already here, and the one when I do mod the graphics card, this will be the one that goes in the block. So I'm getting ready to use this one, and I'm going to solder the ends of these wires onto this one, and then I'll tie these 2 together into the one connection and then go from there. Or at least so is the plan. So we'll see how this all goes. Soldering can be a bit tricky at times, so we'll see. So how I like to start is I like to start with putting a little bit of solder on the wires themselves. So when I go to do the actual solder onto whatever board I'm doing, I can just touch it. I'm not actually screwing around with solder itself. Okay, now the connections all have it. We can take our LED strip. Probably should give us a little bit extra room. And then just touch. And there you go. Connection number 1 done. And the final. Okay, make sure you unplug your soldering iron. That thing gets hot and you don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, so as you can see, we now have 3 wires on. Now, lots of ways we can go about this. Personally myself, when it comes to making sure things don't arc, when it comes to electricity, you can easily either use hot glue, something like that, and just plug it with hot glue, or you can go to your local hardware store or whatnot and get liquid electrical tape. This stuff is really cool. I do enjoy this stuff. It's a little hard to get used to using it at first because it's it just globs. So like, yeah, you really gotta like brush off everything you're not gonna need. It doesn't take too long to set for the most part. So, and of course it's a giant brush, so that's kind of a pain in the ass too, but what can you do? So you just literally go over and you paint the wires with it. And once you feel you've got everything covered the way you want, you let that sit. Now, I do this just to make sure it doesn't arc. And then a lot of the time I will still put a little bit of hot glue over it to make sure there is no issues with it at all. For the most part, I'm probably just going to leave this. I'm not too worried about it. This is all covered. Once this is all done, I will tie this one and that one together and then into one of the quick connects. And then, yeah, I'll plug it all in, and you'll have to watch an upcoming video when the desk is complete, and you'll see exactly how it's done. Basically, I'm making this one. If you look on the actual RGB itself, you might be able to see it. I don't know if you can or not, but really, really closely, there's a little arrow, and that means the electricity has to come in from that direction and follow it. So in other words, if you're using RGB lights with a controller, when the energy comes in this way, that means the lights are going to fire in that direction. So my idea here is because my desk has that split in the middle at the back, and I'm putting them across the back edge of the desk, I want them to fire from middle out, but stay the same pattern. So it'll be like tick, 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 tick across. So it'll be maybe red, blue, yellow. You know what I mean? It'll kind of roll out. That's my idea, at least. So I'm going to tie this one and that one, run power in it, and then it should come up and split out. Or at least, so the game plan is. We'll find out, I guess, when I'm all said and done. Anyway, guys, hope you had a good one. I hope you learned something a little bit today. This is easy stuff. Don't ever be scared to try it. It's just soldering. If you don't have a soldering iron, a lot of the time you could technically not solder these. You could just put the wire down and hot glue it into place. I've done it before. It does work. You just got to make sure the connection's solid. And then, yeah. Anyway, have a good one, guys.